Like and subscribe now, or you're gonna have bad luck this week.
This is how we put the trash out on icy.
Military drills for service members is what training camp is for football players and their coaches. Learning the playbook on how to maneuver and react to intense combat situations, when seconds count and delay is deadly. Most militaries do the standard maneuvers, but some militaries prefer to go all out to show their toughness. From tied up underwater to horrific rituals of biting a chicken's head off, here are some of the toughest military exercises. Tied up underwater. Let's start this list with our favorite military out there. Approximately only 12% of all potential Navy SEALs candidates make it as far as Basic Underwater Demolition / SEAL Training, or BUDS. The core component of SEAL training lasts for 24 weeks and consists of brutal physical exercises, including carrying telephone poles in groups and plenty of ocean-based endurance training. Trainees are just training their bodies, however, and they're also required to learn about tactics, strategy, and other subjects while pushing themselves to their physical limits. Only by completing BUDS does a prospective SEAL even get the chance to enter SEAL Qualification Training. SEAL trainees must also learn to survive in complex water scenarios without sinking or drowning with their heads and feet bound together. They're also required to float for 5 consecutive minutes while bound. The goal is to teach prospective SEALs that they can swim their way out of trouble in even the most intense of scenarios. Hot potato. Are you in for a little game of deadly hot potato? It's quite similar to hot potato, where participants will pass around a potato or some other random object until the music stops, and the person in possession of said object is eliminated from the game. The only difference here is that the unfortunate soldier in this game runs the risk of actually being eliminated by a live hand grenade. Well, the People's Liberation Army of China replaced the potato with a grenade. In 2012, a Chinese military video was leaked from state CCTV that showed a group of People's Army soldiers testing fate with a live grenade. Soldiers have to dispose of the grenade into a large hole just before it detonates. Pretty shocking, right? Even we can't imagine that. Well, it's the ultimate test of a soldier's ability to cope under pressure. The Protectors of Guatemala. To even be considered for membership in Guatemala's elite Caibalese is a massive honor. Only 128 people enter into the program a year, and the graduating class has never been larger than 10. The Caibil course, created by Colonel de Leon Marquez, is among the 8 best courses in the world of survival and war. It is a 60-day preparation which includes personal defense with Taekwondo techniques with legs, arms, and with direct techniques towards the floor. The tests are carried out in El Inferno, one of the most demanding training camps on the planet, located in northern Guatemala in the Petén jungle. The Caibalese are prepared to face any situation on the street. However, the Taekwondo techniques they use are very different from sports Taekwondo. The first thing they need to have is a basic skill to advance to the next level, since their life depends on decisions made in microseconds, including defense. The members must be capable of facing any type of aggressors or terrorists who want to harm any person. The Fire Walk. Fire is just known to burn things down, but the military has used it to build their soldiers. Belarus is known to be the last remaining dictatorship in Europe, and, of course, to keep the dictatorship in power, the government needs an extremely fearsome military. With gas masks on and training for chemical warfare, the Belarusian Special Forces also undergo an obstacle course covered in flames. Mattress Madness. North Korea is one of the most militarized nations in the world. Their military is completely ruthless, which is due to the country's strict training regime. The highest level of North Korea's military personnel is known as Storm Corps. If high school graduates enter the Storm Corps, they have to do 13 years of military service, a 3-year military service of loyalty extension after the standard 10-year term. The training level of the Storm Corps, saying that Special Forces soldiers go through much more intense training than regular soldiers. The most difficult training for a new recruit is extra training after the scheduled daily tasks. After the evening checkup, squad leaders take cadets out to make them exercise for an hour, including sparring, kicking, balancing, and pull-ups, and make them run up a 200-meter mountainside with a mattress on their backs. Isn't that just insane? Snow. If you think North Korea military has it tough, the training regime of their neighbors will blow your mind. With a constant threat from North Korea, South Korea Army Special Warfare Command is responsible for special operations in the country. SWC soldiers frequently work closely with U.S. Green Berets, and their modus operandi include guerrilla warfare, assassination, and counterterrorism. Every year, members of the SWC must participate in winter warfare training in the mountains of Pyeongchang, east of Seoul. Conditions in Pyeongchang generally include temperatures as low as -20 degrees Fahrenheit and deep snow. Soldiers participate in distance runs, shirtless, and mostly train in frozen temperatures, including a frozen river. The idea is to acclimate soldiers to any intense conditions they might find themselves in. They are also trained on how to use rifles while skiing, which we have to say is pretty cool. Mud Run. This exercise turns soldiers into super tough commandos. Royal Marines' much-feared mud run is the toughest part of the training course, which is 32 weeks long. Exhausted, demoralized, and covered in foul-smelling sludge from head to toe, all that to wear the coveted Green Beret, marking them as the elite of Britain's fighting forces. Captain Ben Campbell, who oversees physical training at the Royal Marines Commando Training Center in Linstone, Devon, said, "The mud run is about instilling a Royal Marine state of mind." The recruits spend up to 45 minutes in the mud that is so thick they can barely run doing exercises and games, and it is so difficult that getting through it really builds team spirit. We're not just looking for physical strength, but mental resilience as well as the team cohesion that comes from getting through a hardship together. This strength and cohesion forms parts of the Royal Marines' DNA. Spartan training. Ancient Greek warfare consisted of lines of heavy armored infantrymen and a phalanx, a formation they could use for attack and defense. The ancient Spartans were the best of the ancient Greeks and were widely feared for their martial prowess. Part of the reputation stemmed from the fact that nobody trained like Spartans. According to the Roman historian Plutarch, if a Spartan newborn didn't look healthy or was deformed, the parents would cast the baby aside. At the age of 7, Spartan children were taken from their parents and put into packs. Their heads were shaved and were given little clothing, little food to eat, and they walked barefoot. The children slept, ate, and trained together. By age 12, they were given the famous Spartan cloak, and they learned how to obey commands well, endure hardships, and conquer in battle. They engaged in mock combat and formed an elite spirit decor that made them feared on the battlefield. Drunken training. Yeah, we all know that a healthy mind has a healthy body, but the Marine Corps of the Philippines don't quite agree with that. They have brought this saying to a whole other level. According to the Marine Corps, your mind can also be completely altered, and that devised Hellblast exercise. In this exercise, the recruits must perform a series of exercises while being completely blasted. Aside from being ridiculed, recruits who spend the whole day boozing will have to show their true colors. Pretty tough. Elites of Russia. Russians are generally known to be extreme. They have some of the strongest people. Imagine what the most elite class of Russian soldiers must be like. Those guys are called Spetsnaz soldiers. Aside from the obvious like reflex shooting, close quarter battle, hand-to-hand combat, warfare tactics, endurance, and strength training, these guys are taught how to resist and perform interrogation, warfare on different terrains, combat diving, para-jumping, and an often overlooked skill in the special forces which usually is found only in elite agencies called social engineering. Basically, these warriors are capable of performing better than nearly any other unit specialized in any particular field in that field. The Spetsnaz are at the top of the food chain in the military hierarchy. The Road to Heaven. The finale of a 10-week pain-filled training program where Taiwanese Marines strive to become frogmen is called the Road to Heaven. This initiation consists of low crawling over 50 meters, 164 feet, of sharp rock coral without the use of their arms, while conducting various calisthenics along the way. Think PT is bad? Try this training technique. Unsatisfied instructors can make you restart the course as you near the end, should you not show enough spunk. The fearless crawlers can complete the course in 15 minutes. Those who don't share the same enthusiasm are directed back to the beginning. Tough love. Weeping wives, children, and parents are dotted around the course to witness their loved ones drag themselves red, raw, and bleeding across the finish line. Cobra Gold. Finally, we present to you Cobra Gold. Cobra Gold is one of the Indo-Pacific's largest multinational exercises held in Thailand. Gathering Army troops from Thailand, Singapore, South Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, and the United States. The exercise includes an amphibious assault demonstration, landmine destruction, and a combined arms live fire exercise. But probably the most photographed event is the jungle survival. But why do we call it the Cobra Gold? Well, because the troops drink cobra blood. No matter how crazy it sounds, but participants must capture cobras that they then will kill and drink their blood. Royalty Marine instructors show the troops how drinking the blood from a cobra can help them stay alive if there is no drinkable water. The pictures show the Marines with their heads tilted back and sticking out their tongues as the instructor drips the blood down their throats. That's just insane! Even that's not it. The highlight of this ritual is when soldiers capture a live chicken that they must decapitate using their teeth. Why? Because there's nothing better to remove the taste of snake blood? Which one of these training would you be able to endure? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.